Hello friends, today we'll talk about the situation inside of Ukraine and around of our country. The high political season begins in Ukraine. The president will remain the center of decision making, but the place where they will be made is in the parliament. It is in the parliament that several bills will be considered on amending the constitution of Ukraine, from the new state emblem to the reduction of the number of deputies. The state budget for 2021, the extension of the Minsk agreements, anti-oligarchic bills, resignation in government and possibility in the leadership of parliament. And all this against in the backdrop of the unresolved problem of rising tariffs, aggravation in Donbass, and strategic uncertainty of the West in the regards to Ukraine. But this week an extraordinary session of the parliament has already taken place, and which the issue is adopting the appeal to the Ukrainian parliament to the United States Congress regarding granting Ukraine the status the main ally outside NATO was considered. The Verkhovna Rada did not support this decision. Only 24 voters voted for this decision, and this despite the fact that earlier this appeal was signed by 153 People's Deputies of Ukraine. Why did the Rada not vote with the resolution on the status of Ukraine as a United States ally outside of NATO? The first one, it's a problem for American partners. For American partners, it's a very inconvenient topic for two reasons. Such as appeal by Ukraine shifts the responsibility for Ukrainians' integration into NATO and security guarantees, and for providing broader military, political, and financial support assistance onto the United States. They are not ready to do this. Also, Russia is against this question, this appeal also, and the President's office gave a clear instruction not to vote this appeal, since it considered it destructive from the point of view of organizing a meeting with Putin. In addition to all this, Alexei Goncharenko, People's Deputy from Poroshenko's party, European Solidarity, was simply not allowed to promote himself on this topic. But formally, Ukrainian authorities said that we are not going to be the main ally outside of NATO, we want to be a part of NATO. Of course, it's not clear answer, because many of People's Deputy, including most of People's Deputy from President Zelensky party were signed this decision before. One more important topic in Ukrainian dialogue, inside or outside our political cartons, it's a topic about the meeting between Zelensky and Putin. Both sides will declare their readiness and desire to meet. A meeting between Zelensky and Putin is still unlikely. The Russian Federation's statement about its readiness to normalize relations between Russia and Ukraine is just a traditional rhetoric. A meeting between Zelensky and Putin is possible under certain conditions, in particular with discussing Crimea and certain progress in Donbass. So far, such condition for Ukraine side seems unacceptable. Accordingly, there will be no meeting between Putin and Zelensky in the near future, but at the same time, both sides every time will be talking about their readiness to this meeting. This talking about the readiness to this meeting will present for us a movie of when the both sides are ready to peace negotiation. But at the same time, no one of the sides are ready to the compromising this problem. And of course, we understand that for Zelensky, this meeting is more needable than for Putin, because for Zelensky, this meeting should show to Ukrainian society the rising the topic of Donbass or Crimea, and some kind of progress in this very important for Ukrainian society question. For Putin, this meeting is acceptable and necessary only in situation when Ukraine will be ready for compromise to the Crimea or to the Donbass situation. Otherwise, this meeting with the claims for each other should be worse for Putin, accounting also election campaign to the Russian parliament nowadays. One problem in Ukrainian political situation inside of our country is of course situation around Wagner Group. This week CNN published a small film about this situation, and the main sense of this film was the Wagner Gate was a special operation under the control of special American also investigation agency, and it was broken because the leak of information from the office of Ukrainian president. In fact, this is an informational special operation, I think, which was initially directed against the office of president, primarily against of his head, Andrei Yermak. And the CNN story is a continuation of this confrontation. Pressure continues of the office of president of Ukraine to dismiss Yermak and to appoint of candidate who is more understandable and loyal to external players on special kind of Ukrainian inside players which should promote this investigation. This in turn will give the opportunity to control more Vladimir Zelensky himself. Of course, in this week we have a lot of news about Ukraine inside of Ukraine. European Council continues the sanction against the Russian Federation, persons and companies through the situation of Crimea. We have different conflicts between the head of parliament and the office of Ukrainian president. We have the bad situation with the rising the level of the COVID disease in Ukraine. We have very dangerous situation about the inflation in Ukraine and growing up the risks for stability for national for Ukrainian hryvnia. Also, we have different type of conflicts between the central power and local power. For example, this week, as usual, the companies which are close to the head major of Kiev, head Klitschko, was also under the pressure of special investigation agency. New audio leaks about the situation in Ukrainian judicial system, so-called films of Mr. Vogue also was published, and it's very interesting due to the situation in Constitutional Court, due to the situation to understand the communication kind of connections inside the Ukrainian judicial system. Many different topics was raised up. This week was finished by the speech statement of Ukrainian president on the Yalta platform, when he called about the possible great war with Russia, when he didn't give the answer to the question about his second term of work. Many different questions, but if you're interested in something more or something special, please write down comments and I'll describe it in the text. Thank you for watching this vlog. Please write down a new topic and I'll try to investigate it and research it in new videos. See you.